Start.
Pranam Maharaj. So we are today with another topic that is decision making. And as the one of the important quotation of Swami Vivekananda goes, like if a man with an ideal makes 1,000 mistakes, I am sure that a man without an ideal makes 50,000. So each and every aspect of our life, whether we are a spiritual aspirant or not, decision making is an aspect which we are always facing with, and it is very crucial for each and every person. So would request you, Maharaj, please throw some light in this regard, which may enlighten us that how can we make a better decision making in this regard. We will be having lot many questions in this regard. We will ask something about this. Over to you, Maharaj.
Okay. So steps involved in the decision making. See, decision making, whether right decision or wrong decision. If you take decisions, even the right decisions, steps are there, wrong decision, there is steps are there. And man cannot move forward without taking decision in every stages and every scenario and problem with the life. So very quickly and in a short time, he has to take decision. It may right or wrong. So who is taking decision? And as you see in our life, every moment you have to take decision. This path or that path, right, wrong, left, right. Instant you have to take decision so that you can move forward. That is the scenario in our life. And in a fraction of second, quick seconds it happens. Sometimes you cannot understand it, but realize it. Anyhow, decision either right or wrong. There are who involved in it. What are the component of the body, part of the body are involved for taking decision. First, intellect in the higher seat. Who take decision in every moment, every second, supplied by the data. Who supplied the data? Minds. Mind supply the data through the senses. This is the mechanism. Intellect has to take decision, getting data from the mind. Mind collect data through the senses. Senses, what you see, what you hear, and that situation where you're living. This all data supplied by mind to the intellect. So these are factors, three, mainly mind and intellect and the senses who collecting data. Whether bad or good or whatever, we collect the data through senses, mind, sense to intellect. And intellect should take the decision. But this is not always happening in your day-to-day life when you are taking decision. For example, two brothers reading newspaper. One newspaper. So after 5 minutes, elder brother says, no, I go to sports news. Then younger, oh, no, I on the general news. They want to read. So you see, decision, instant decision, it differs from one to other, one brother to other. So one brother says, I want to see the sports news, other says general news. Sports news, the decision taken by the intellect, mind, data, but factor is mind giving this data, supplying data to the intellect, where he likes the sports. So intellect decide, no, sports for him. And sometimes mind give the data, the general news, interest by you want to know. This is one way of analysis, that intellect and mind is little bit inclined or attract to the sports or general news. So decision coming, which page they will read. But that you come to the one examples where there are moral, immoral, right and wrong decision comes. Two friends are passing through the road. They found one purse. So one friend says, no, I should not take it. I will take this purse and hand it over to the police. Whereas the other friend says, why? Nobody is there. I should keep and we can enjoy the money. So with the argument, they keep it in the second one, keep in the pocket. See, here comes the same time that one intellect is giving the right decision, intellect or other giving the wrong decision. Fact is the same, collecting the data, giving the mind to the intellect. Both of them have seen, this is the true senses, comes to the mind reported to the intellect. Same environment, same thing, but one says, I will not take the money, and other says, I will take, because nobody can catch me. So this one intellect is right, one is wrong. Here they say, when intellect blend with the spirituality, this will be that intellect give you right, proper decision. When intellect is not blend with the spirituality, then it will give most of the time the wrong, immoral advice, action. So intellect is the most important factor to take the decision with the help of sometimes minds also help little bit because of the inclination of mind. Intellect also give the decision that way. On the examples what I have given earlier also, here that relations between mind and intellect is just like a clerk and a Badababu of the office. Clerk should report to the head clerk everything, and head clerk will direct, and then clerk act accordingly by the advice of the head clerk. In your life, you will find sometimes mind is taking decision, not sending it to the intellect. In case of when we are highly emotional, highly strong impulse, attachment. So that time, instant you are taking the decision of the mind. Emotionally, any place you go, that emotionally charged, that time they take decision of, mind take decision. They have no time, or they do not send to the intellect as to hear the intellect decision, what intellect says. They immediately out of that emotional part charge, yes, emotional part is so fascinated with them, and they take his decision with the help of the emotional, the mind take decision. That time there is a always wrong decision. In a bereaved family, you see, they are taking decision, they are not using the intellect, and they are suffering. Mind taking decision, not sending it to the intellect. This is also wrong. It is happening in our life also. Mind should not be allowed to take decision. You wait and judge it. Socho, to doing anything you have heard. सोच के करो, सोच के करो, सोच के बात करो, सोच के काम करो, इतना मतलब सोचो and send to the intellect. Let intellect advise us to do. But most of the people, they are taking decision with the help of the mind and emotionally charged. That is why they are wrong decision they are taking. And even people take the advice of the intellect. If intellect is not pure, if intellect is not blended with the spirituality, then that impure intellect, lower intellect, always guide you the wrong path. Intellect should be higher intellect. That is called vivek. That shastras, vivek, vairagya, विवेक होना चाहिए. That intellect should be purified, or intellect blended with the spirituality. That intellect is a higher intellect, pure intellect. And that intellect, whatever, this type of intellect, whatever they decide and direct the mind, most of the cases it will be the right decision. So, to purify our intellect, evacuate, they are near the intellect. How much intellect is required to fool the others and take the money or grab the house, stolen house? That is also part of intellect, tremendous intellect. But it is not blended with the spirituality. That intellect is doing the wrong to the society and doing the wrong to the persons who is using it. The quotation I remember, I already told also, that in Buddhanandaji written in the book Control of the Mind, intellectual giant is dangerous if it is not blended with spirituality. Intellectual giant whose intellect is blended with the spirituality, they are the helpful to the society. They do good to the society. Others' intellect, which is not pure, blended with spirituality, always harm to the society. Just quotation you have given. A man with an ideal commit 1,000 mistakes. Without any ideal, 50,000 mistakes. That means how? This ideal means some ideal will be there which purifies his intellect. Out of 100, one mistake will be there because intellect is not so purified, just like the avatars. All decision will be correct. 1, 2, there is a mistake, or 5 mistakes. But the person who has no idea, no purification of the intellect, 50,000 mistakes they're doing. Swamiji is the same way. If intellect is not purified with spirituality, so we need spiritual practice for taking right decision. Decision we may take. Everybody's intellect, though even the animals, little bit intellect is there, though it is not counted, but still we find some intellect is there. They are using it. But people, you see, our society, they full of people who are corrupting and bad characters. Why? They are also by intellect helping them to take decision, wrong decision, so that he can harm them and harm themselves also, harm the society, themselves, own self. So we have to very careful about that intellect. Intellect should be blended with spirituality. That means we need spiritual practice, taking right decision, making the decision-making steps, nothing but a spiritual practice. No big words and so many steps. Who will take the steps? We can say, oh, before taking the decision, you must think which is right, which is wrong. If I have no idea in our mind, in the intellect, which is right and which is wrong, then how can you take the decision, the right decision? Always taking the wrong decision, you fall in the trap and destroying your life. So steps is spiritual practice. The only steps that spiritual practice be moral, morality. Morality how will come unless you practice? Train the mind. Train the mind means train physical level. You have do the spiritual practice so that you can train the mind, so that mind can take the good data, not wrong data. Collect from the society, from the scene, whatever they are seeing, hearing. Mind should collect right data, not wrong data. And that should go to the intellect. So intellect will give the wrong decision. Intermediate part is mind. So mind, if we absorb and collect the wrong data, as for example, I am walking through the street. Immediately I saw a very nasty pictures of a lady. If mind always go and see and 2 minutes I watch on that. So mind collecting impure or wrong data. And somebody, they have the power because of the spirituality. Ignore it and go forward. So he avoid from collecting wrong data. So this is depend on the spirituality and taste, because data you have to collect through the mind and mind sent to the intellect. Then intellect will give the decision. So we are always collecting data, wrong data from the mind through the senses, eyes, ears, these things. So unless you have a spiritual practice, that is we used to call, you know very well, SDM, then you cannot take these are the steps for taking decision. These are the steps for taking a right decision. Decision means the right decision. Otherwise, intellect, if you take the wrong data and intellect decide the wrong decision will give. I think this is the things I struck out and before you that this is the who are the real factors and what is the remedy. Okay, now you can ask the question.
Yes, thank you, Maharaj. Very nicely and very systematically you have put forward how to take decisions. A small question may come up, Maharaj, that as you have mentioned that emotionally charged decision that like whenever a person is under influence of any feeling like lust, empathy, jealousy, hatred, ego, so they are bound to take wrong decisions. But still, sometimes it happens that sometimes we are having very calm mind, and still we make some decisions which is subsequently proved wrong. So how to correct these decisions and what may be the mechanism for this?
See, calm down, and this who will calm down? You have to make your train your mind to calm down. See, when you say you have to control the mind, who will control the mind? Your activities. To calm down, the mind means your activities should such. The mind will be restless, at rest and peace. And if you go on doing some kind of work, action, which is disturbing your mind, there is no question of pulling down the mind. Physical level, what you are doing, that is the important. Mental level, you can reach there. We can reach the mental level through our physical level, our action. So this is the crack is that whatever you want to control, whether mind or intellect, physical level, what kind of, what we are doing. Doing means even we are watching bad thing, that is also doing bad. Hearing, that is also action. So action is more important, responsible for building our mind at peace or intellect. I think it is clear.
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay.
Sometimes also happens, Maharaj, that people avoid taking any decision. Even if
Amit,
time sensitive situations are there.
Amit क्या बोल रहा था?
Yes, Swamiji, this was one question which we thought. I have discussed with few of the participants as what are the questions in this area, and some of the questions were very interesting. And those people who are always involved in decision making in their institute or in the society, sometimes a phase may come that you have taken one decision and after some time you realize that your decision was not correct. Then what are the steps? Should we go back and correct it, or we leave it to the circumstances, or we should outweigh what risk benefit? Because sometimes we realize later that we have not taken a correct decision.
I got the point. This is, we are novices, we are passing through the trial and error method. So you don't expect that all decisions, even though you have taken all the cares, but we are novices, we are not skilled, we are not reached that state that mind is always tuned. So all the decisions, all decisions will may not be correct. All means few will be left that is not correct, as Swami Vivekananda said, that with an idea, 100%, 1000 mistake will be there. So because we have not reached that state, but correct, how to do the correct it will give more focus on spiritual practice and be careful taking the food, taking the data you are collecting, and these are the remedy. But mistake will be there, 100% correct will not be there. Suppose you have taken 100 decision a day, maybe 5 decision will be incorrect. But after 2 months, your practice and awareness, sincerity, this mistake will come to 2, but mistake will be there. unless we reach that level. The point is clear now.
Yes, Swamiji. Now, there is another supplementary question to this. As we are working in the society or in when we are in the even with the family, there are decisions which we disagree, and we know that this decision is not correct, or you are victim of the bad decision taken by some authority, whether in the family or in the office. So this is again a
See,
tricky. So.
no. See, that is happening everybody's life, either even in the house, even in the working place, because they have not based on trained on that this kind of philosophy or this kind of idea that I have to take the right decision. Most of the people, they are taking the wrong decision. That way think that they are not imbibe all those things. They have no ideal in the life. That is why taking the most of the people taking the wrong decision. And you are taking only in this particular topic or point, you are taking the right decision, you know, from the mind. So you just bear it because they have no idea in the life. So that is the quite natural. Quite natural because they have no ideal in the life. Always they are making the mistake. You have this ideal, so you are not always making the mistake. Few mistake will be done by you, but most of the mistake they are doing. So you have to bear it, thinking that they have no ideal in the life. I have to work with them. Finish. They have no capacity to take the right decision. Even in the family also, that is equal. So much fighting in the family also. You have to bear it with this. Pray to God, give me more strength and I can take the right decision, because I surrounded by 50 people, 49 people are taking the wrong decision. So I leave it to God because their mind is not pure. They are, they have no ideal in the life. So society means it is like that. Everybody taking the wrong decision, and people are very few people are suffering, those who have the ideal. Otherwise everybody okay, ठीक है, वो किया तो क्या है, मैं भी ऐसा कर दूंगा, बस finish.
Mhm. Yes, thank you, Swamiji. Swamiji, one last question. I think 3-4 minutes are there. Last discussion, we had this topic in which you have highlighted that we should keep our ideal in front and then decide whether this action, this decision is going or taking me towards my ideal or away from the ideal. And then you should decide. Similar is the quotation of Swami Vivekananda, do not touch which makes you physically, mentally, spiritually weak, treat it as a poison. So could you please highlight how when it comes to our own personal decision, uh, how to correlate with our ideal?
See, question is correlated, this idea, correlate the ideal means this particular moment I forget my ideal, whatever may the reasons. We do the mistake. And if you do the mistake, as we put the finger on the fire, it will burn because it is your lack of efficiency, lack of sincerity, lack of the sadhana. You cannot keep this ideal before taking the decision, but this atmosphere and environment is such, you forgot. And you take the decision. That happened also. It is not that it is not happening. Circumstances or environment force you to forget this ideal. Then you take the wrong decision. That is your part, your fault. You cannot blame others. You are not able to do it. Even the environment is forcing such that you forget your ideal and take the wrong decision along with others. That you have to take the responsibility. You should be blamed. Then why you are not able to do it? You do practice, practice, practice. Okay.
Yes, perfect. Thank you very much, Swamiji. Thank you.
Thank you. Have my love and blessings. अच्छा लगा. चलो.
प्रणाम महाराज.
नमस्कार.
Yeah, thank you, Swamiji. Very interesting. बहुत अच्छा लगा. Thank you so much.